Hi folks, Greeno here, out and about in the freezing cold weather in the UK again. Whoa, it's a chilly one today. Where am I today though? Well, you can see behind me here, a huge great cathedral. This is Salisbury Cathedral, in my opinion, the best cathedral in the whole of the UK. I love this place. So that tells you I am in Salisbury. Now, why have I come to Salisbury today? Well, I'm not quite sure myself right now, to be honest. I've got Mrs Greeno with me, she's holding the camera, and today she is going to pick where we go for lunch. I haven't planned anything, we've just driven up here and we're going to see where Mrs Greeno picks. Is she going to pick somewhere good, or is she going to let me down? We'll have to find out, won't we? So, let's go and see what she fancies to eat. Come on. Right, lead the way, Mrs Greeno, let's see where we end up. We are definitely not going in here, Mrs Greeno. Keep moving. So we've got a couple of pubs here and a fish and chip place. And Mrs Greeno says no, we keep going. We found a little Christmas market here in the market square. Outside the big sort of city hall thing here, town hall, whatever it is. And Mrs Greeno has been distracted by little stalls of Christmas stuff. So we might end up getting something here, who knows? That was a pretty small and relatively uninspiring Christmas market, it has to be said, so we're not going to stop in there for anything to eat. We are going to a much bigger and better Christmas market though, in the run-up to Christmas, so you'll get to see a nice one hopefully. Right, time to find somewhere we can actually get some lunch then. Right, we found a place that meets with Mrs Greeno's approval. It's called the Pickled Frog. Look at this lovely old building with all the beams on. It's a cafe bar, bistro kind of place. Let's get inside and find out what it's all about, shall we? Right, we've encountered a problem. It's 2:45, they open till 4, but the kitchen closes at 2:30. So we won't be getting anything to eat there now. Time to think of something else. Right then folks, we have found somewhere to come for lunch. It's called Hixon's. And it's not far from the cathedral itself actually. We'd walked past it on the way to try and find that pickled frog place. So, this is kind of like a steakhouse kind of thing. They've got all sorts of other different bits and bobs on the menu. And they have actually got a lunch menu which runs from 12 till 5. So I think we're going to be ordering off of this. There is a very extensive menu here with oysters and steaks and stuff on as well. So lots of different things for people to choose from. So I've got to say it's quite a nice vibe in here. It's quite nicely decorated and whatever. As we came in, there were a bunch of Christmas parties finishing up because of course we're that sort of time. We're way after lunchtime. We're kind of pre-dinner. I don't know what you'd call this kind of meal really. Like if you go in between breakfast and lunch, it's called brunch, isn't it? So maybe between dinner and lunch is dunch. I'm going to have dunch. So, we're going to take a little look at what's available on this lunch menu and we'll let you know what I've picked. So here we have the lunch menu. 2 courses for £17.50 or 3 for £20. I think that's pretty good value. I'm probably going to go with the mackerel pate to start, I reckon. Served with Somerset sourdough. We come down onto the mains, there's 4 different ones to choose from. Not going to go for fish and chips myself today. I'll probably have the steak frite, I think. Minute steak, skin on fries, onion rings and a peppercorn sauce. That sounds okay to me. And the desserts, well, we'll wait and see, but vanilla creme brulee sounds pretty good. I wonder what Mrs Greeno's going to pick. Well, I'll tell you one thing Mrs Greeno has picked. She's having a glass of wine. I'm driving though, so I'm stuck on the water. Ho-hum. Mrs Greeno has made her selection. She's going with the ham hock terrine to start with. And not content with the £20 menu, she's gone for the Wagyu burger, £5 supplement. Ah, blooming liberties some people take her. Right folks, our starters have arrived. Come and take a closer look. Right, so here we have the mackerel pate on some toasted sourdough. And it looks really nice, doesn't it? Really nicely presented. Obviously it's quite a simple little starter, but they put a little bit of effort into it. You've got some kind of lemon-infused oil over the top here, a little bit of lemon to squeeze over the top. Nice little bit of something watercressy there as well. So I'm looking forward to this now. Do I go in with a knife and fork? I don't think so. Maybe we will for the salady bit in a minute. We've got some nice little bits of pickled onion on there too, which look pretty good. As you can see, if we come in a little bit closer there. Very nice. Very nice. So, what we'll do, we'll have a bit from the end here and then we'll come round and eat the pickled oniony bit. Yum, yum. Mmm. Mmm. The first thing I got there was a good whack of lemon. There's a real crunch from that sourdough. But then the mackerel, it's a very pronounced flavour mackerel, isn't it? That comes through and washes that lemon away. And so you just get that nice, deep, rich mackerel flavour. Cool, that's good. Let me get a little bit of the pickled onion to pop on top of there if I can. See what that adds to the party, shall we? Mmm. That's pretty good actually, because you get that little hit of vinegar as well. Quite a sweet vinegar. It kind of cuts through some of that richness of the mackerel. Oh yeah. Like I said, it's quite a simple starter, but it packs a punch, it really does. It's delicious. There you go, for all you folk that worry that Mrs Greeno isn't eating, or I'm eating all her lunch. I haven't even touched this and she's tucking in. Looks pretty good. Well guys, these starters were a success. Mrs Greeno thoroughly enjoyed her ham hock terrine with the piccalilli and everything. Really nice combination. And as you can see, I have polished off that whole mackerel on toast thing. Got to say in here, the staff are buzzing around like crazy. There were Christmas parties just leaving as we came in, and they're setting up for more Christmas parties tonight. So they're all buzzing around, moving tables around, setting them up into the right party sizes. But they're doing it, trying to be as unobtrusive to us as possible, because we're still trying to enjoy a lunch, obviously, so fair play to them. Right then folks, main course has arrived. I have my little minute steak. It's only a thin little piece of steak as you'd expect. A giant onion ring. This, Gordon Ramsay, have a look at this. This is how you do a big onion ring. It's not greasy, it's not leaking oil all over my plate. And we've got a nice little portion of fries there. And hidden around the back, a little pan containing my peppercorn sauce, which looks a really nice sized portion of it too. So, let's start with a fry, shall we? Now these definitely are fries, not chips. They've got skin on. And they're very, very hot. Nice and crispy. Obviously just out of the fryer. God, that's a good fry that is actually. Nice and soft in the middle, and just the right amount of crisp on the outside. Yum. I'm going to try dipping that in the peppercorn sauce now. There we go. Let's give it a little mix up. Make sure we get a good coating on the fry here. And you can see the steam that's coming off of that sauce. And it clings to the chip really nicely. Nice consistency. And a good flavour. Nice warmth from the peppercorn without it being excessive. You can taste like, I think there's a brandy in there or something along those lines, some kind of alcohol in there. Just gives another little undertone. And it's nice and creamy, lovely consistency. Oh, going for a bit more. Let's move on to this piece of steak then. So like I say, this is just a minute steak. It's quite a thin piece. Not brilliantly rested, it would appear. It's leaking quite a bit on the plate. But let's give it a try, see how it tastes, shall we? Give it actually, let's move that across a little bit. I'm trying to cut on a bit that's actually not level, so that's not really fair, is it? Could do with a better steak knife. This one isn't serrated. And let's have a look at how that's cooked inside. Can you see that's nice and pink? So that's obviously just been flash fried on both sides. It's not easy to keep a piece of steak that thin, nice and pink and moist. That was a very nice flavour. You can see the charring on the outside of it where it's been cooked on a grill. And that's imparted a lot of flavour into this little piece of meat. It's still nice and tender. Nice and juicy inside. We're going to see how this goes with the peppercorn sauce now. There we go, a nice coating of it on there. I don't normally choose a peppercorn sauce if I'm out. Almost always go for a béarnaise. But this makes a nice change. I'll say it's quite a cold day outside. This has got a nice sort of warm autumnal winter feel to it. Really, really nice. So, one more bit of that. Then I'm going to try this massive onion ring. Oh, yeah. Right, now look at this. Hello, I can see you. It's like a porthole on a boat, isn't it? That is huge. So, let's cut this open and have a little look and see what it's all about. Nice, crispy batter on there. I'm going to pick this up with my fingers to have a look inside. So we've got a nice big, solid piece of onion in there. Obviously, it's not like a minced up onion ring. Really nice inside there. Let's give this a try. Nice flavour. The onion's cooked through properly. And it's nice and sweet. The batter is crispy. Not overly greasy though. That does have a good flavour. I like that. Again, Gordon Ramsay, this is how you do it. Right, I'm going to crack on and eat the rest of this. Let Mrs Greeno crack on with her Wagyu burger. £5 supplement. And we'll come back and we'll talk about it all at the end. Maybe dessert to come yet too. Okay, main course is done. Mrs Greeno thoroughly enjoyed her Wagyu burger and fries, it has to be said. Now for me, a nice lunch. The steak, not the greatest quality piece of meat in the world, but the peppercorn sauce was great, the fries were great, and that onion ring was delicious. So, yeah, overall, very, very pleasing. Have we got room for dessert though? Let's see, shall we? So we have decided to go for dessert. Mrs Greeno has gone for a chocolate brownie, which I just pinched a little bit of before we started the filming here. Very nice bitter chocolate flavour, a lot less sweet than normal. And I think that's quite a good thing. I've got this creme brulee here, which I have to say reminds me a lot of the camembert I had in Coke recently, and a nice layer of sugar on the top. Hopefully this layer of sugar goes a bit better with what's underneath than it did with that camembert. So we've got a tiny little shortbread biscuit here as well. Little cute one. And then the nice burnt sugar. This is probably, no, it's not too hot, that's okay. Burnt sugar all over the top of that set custard underneath. So, can you hear the crisp on there? Let's get you in a bit closer. That's how it should be. So I've got to crack this now. There we go. We get the little shards of sugar there. And a nice set custard underneath. There we go, that's a vanilla creme brulee. Yum, yum. That's nice. It's almost blancmange or like a panna cotta. You can see it almost got a bit of a wobble to it. Really nice vanilla flavour. And the sugar there, because it's a really crispy kind of shard, gives a nice textural element too. That works very nicely. Let's try this little shortbread with it. Buttery, sweet. Just as a shortbread should be. Not much more to say, really. Very enjoyable. Right, guys, so I am stood outside of Hixon now. We have finished up our 3-course set lunch. And I've got to say, great value for money. The 3 courses I had, the mackerel pate, the minute steak with the chips and the peppercorn sauce, and that creme brulee, just £20. There is a service charge, 12.5%, but that's not much on 20 quid, is it? Mrs Greeno, of course, she had the ham terrine thing, the Wagyu burger, extra £5. Always costing me money, that one. And the chocolate brownie, which I think is probably about the best chocolate brownie she's ever had. Right up there anyway. So that's, yeah, so hers was £25. Glass of wine, again, not expensive. 175ml, £6.15. I don't think that's out of the ballpark, really, is it? Kind of what you expect. Like I say, service charge, 12.5%, £6.39, gives a total of £57.54 for 2 people to have a more than adequate lunch. Well, I say lunch. It is now 5:25, so dunch, as I classed it earlier on, cross between dinner and lunch. So, like I say, quality of the food not bad. I'd like the steak to have been a little bit more tender. You know, we're kind of picking things there. What am I going to score it though? What am I going to score it? I mean, they're really friendly people. It's an independent venue, right in the middle of Salisbury, which is nice. Where are we going to go? About a 4.3 maybe out of 5, I think. I think that's fair, 4.3. Yeah, really good little place. We'll definitely come back here for another meal at some point, probably off camera. But yeah, independents like this, these are the kind of places we want to be supported, not the likes of Coat. I'm going to have a bee in my bonnet about those guys for a while yet, I think. So, have a look at the colour of this building. It's green. What colour light do you think it's going to get? Indeed, Greeno's green light has been awarded to Hixon. Really, really good. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, looking at Hixon here in Salisbury, don't forget to click a thumbs up on it for me. It does help with the channel. And if you're new around here and you've enjoyed this video, there's lots of other content. Have a little look around the vault and see what you can find. Right, where to next? Somewhere with daylight, hopefully. Bit easier to film. Anyway, I'll see you then.